My name is Bogdan Szyber. I am a director, dramatist and stage designer by profession. But I stand here in front of you this afternoon as a PhD candidate. I'm in the sort of very last throes of my 6-year-long trudging across the tundra. But what I do is artistic research. And this is very sort of, I have to stress that because you do from, I shouldn't say that, but you do like proper research. I'm more like a pirate, and I pick and choose what I do with the material sort of that I use. And in mid-May, I will defend, as you academics say, with this martial, warlike language metaphor, my dissertation. But still, what I will tell you about today is my first 2 years of this 6-year thing, because I left it after 2 years. But the 2 first years, I was surfing around in your domains. So the title is Fauxthentication. Faux is, as of course you know, French for fake. Fake, it's a mashup of 2 words, fake authentication. Fauxthentication, this is the title of my dissertation and also of my whole project. And I entered this, most of you, I mean, I will be kicking in open doors, but, you know, be patient. Because I come from art, I do art. And if one could name one common denominator for my artistic practice throughout the years, it has been some kind of interventional, like critical listening to the genus loci of a place or a context. And genus loci is Latin for the spirit of the place. And we don't have to be spiritual or new age about it. It's like the atmosphere, the ambiance or vibe, if you please. But let's broaden it and deepen it a bit. It's also the relational web of the situationality of people, how they find themselves in a relationship, in the working place, in a social context, the hierarchies, the dance within institution, with the colleagues, etc. So I invite you to sort of listen to that genus of academia. Now, academia is it has a very, very special genus, and it has several genus locis. But I stage things. I look at it from a theater metaphor, and there are sociologists that have been doing that as well. But I staged stuff, iscensätter. So I look at it as a performative practice. So let's look at academia and research from more sort of staging perspective. So this is, if we just look at it as a staging, if we look at the scenography, the costume design, the hairstyles, the lighting design, which has been very random today, of course, but I mean, it's not. So this is a typical research. The body language is something we really sort of also should be looking for. And sort of, I applied for this doctorate position in 2013 with a totally different project. I called it the viral stage. It had to do about stagings online. And I looked at, you know, political campaigns or marketing campaigns, etc. They are staged from all the perspectives of a theater play. Of course, they have a script. People perform stuff in order to get something, we talked before about the storytelling, about the narrativity of stuff. So this is I've just sort of touched upon the outwardness, sort of like if you look at the theater play when you sit down. But I have to sort of go into my history, because I took my bachelor in 1983 from the school was called University College of Dance. Now, 1983, it was a different planet. Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States. We're 6 years before the Berlin Wall came down. The mostly played tune in Sweden on radio was David Bowie's Let's Dance. It was a different world, okay? Olof Palme was still alive. He was the prime minister. So the room, the Loki of academia was very, very different. And I'm sort of counting on you knowing this. For me, everything was new. So let's sort of look from this noob, from this sort of beginner. So let's look at the market. The market has grown enormously. There is so much money. So I was looking at, I came into, after 30 years, I came sort of back into something that was totally different. And here again, I have to stress, I do art. So I went into artistic research, which today is standardized according to the rest of higher education processes because of the Bologna, the whole Bologna model, the Bologna process. So I'm sort of a bit in the same room as you are, according to the rules and regulations of the higher education industry, if you like. So there is so much money in that. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, so this is how people look, this is how they perform. So what's the plot about? And the plot is not, the plot is not different from, when I do stuff now, right, I'm staging an opera for Norrlandsoperan. The plot to be successful is not different. You want recognition, you want more funding, you want your colleagues to admire you, your peer group, you want to go to the conferences, you want to, etc. You want to be, you want glamour, basically. So I was looking at the plot, and for me, coming from, the only texts I was involved in were like devising kind of stagecraft, or it was drama, or musikdramatik, musical drama. And then I thought, okay, so the plot, okay, let's look, what do they have to do in order to win the game? And it became very, very clear. It was about this thing. It was about the paper. And people are calling it the paper. I was like, okay, it's I got it quite, but it's fun to sort of look at it from that perspective. I came in, it was about the paper. And it wasn't about just any paper. It was about, let's push the paper. So this whole market was about, listen to this genus loci, the spirit of the place. The whole market was about this production, the supply and demand, and it was a more enormous demand for text as the blood in this body of academia. And so I was looking, okay, and this is 6 years old, and we're talking 2.5 million papers a year. You know that, of course, but it's like, then it was 7,000 papers every day after day after day. And I just last week read that apparently this doubles every 8 years. Now, the people that do maths here understand, it can't be true, because I only took it to year 2100, and we had billions of papers then. And I was like, it's going to be, so in 1,000 years, it's going to be more papers than atoms in the new universe. It can't be true. So this is just speculative. So, okay, it was about the text, the economy. The economy of labor is this production of text. And I haven't even gone into, because I don't have the time to go into the other black sides of it. How do we siphon the economy? the black sides of, predatory conferences or fake conferences. This is not one of them, isn't it? Because that's a huge market that I'm not going to go into, or the predatory journals. I'm not going to go into that because you all know there is a hierarchy everywhere. Yes, the web of dependency. So the hierarchies of what journal should my paper go to? And apparently, the journals that my paper should go to say no to like 8 of 10. Because they are exclusive. And how do you get exclusive? How do you get glamour? You understand. You get the message. If you stand to this queue to the club, no, yes, no, you know that. So very, very fast, I saw this. Because I am who I am, remember the intervention critical listening? So we have the critical thing. We have this institutional critique kind of thing. That's one of the ponies that I ride. I turn to the grey economy of this paper production. People selling. They're on these platforms. And it's not, as you know, it's not plagiarism. People actually sit. So I was starting to be very fascinated. This is sort of from the beginning for me, to be fascinated of that people actually sit somewhere. There are academics sitting somewhere producing original, authentic stuff. So the fakeness becomes, we're talking meta level. So somebody is actually producing authentic academic writing, but it's used for faking? No, it's not faking. So when does it, So this is sort of this bit. And here it's interesting. It's from a chat because all of these, there's a lot of chat forums about that. It's very old. We see here that the price for 80,000 words thesis is £6,000. And let me tell you that we already now, talking about hierarchies, we see this is not medicine. That would be much more expensive. Or law. Or management studies. This is like, history. Or, I don't know, musicology. It's like, it's the humanities. It can't be because it's so cheap. But you knew those characters, didn't you? So in all of this, that thing. For me, that was totally new. To see that Jeff Bezos took that metaphor to name his first platform in 2005 turned a lot of things for me. You all know what this is. No? Okay, so very fast. This is the Amazon Mechanical Turk. You heard it several times today. This is the Mechanical Turk. But it's not real. This is not what the art is in those days. He thought it was like that, but it wasn't. It's not really that. But we get the idea. The Mechanical Turk was built by an Austrian-Hungarian nobleman called Wolfgang von Kempelen in the 1770s. And it was a masterful automaton. Automaton is, like a clockwork robot kind of thing. That played chess, and it won. It won against everybody. I mean, it didn't matter who said, I want to. And Wolfgang used it as a, enterprise idea. So he toured it around all the courts, all the people that had money, and the Turk won against Benjamin Franklin, Napoleon Bonaparte, Catherine the Great. Everybody lost. And Wolfgang got quite wealthy. But of course, people didn't play against a doll. There was a grand chess master inside. And when Wolfgang was opening the doors to show, oh, hello, everybody, this is just, cogs and wheels. So he's opening doors in a sequence. So the grand chess master slid around. So we just, okay, it's just an automaton. Okay, so this thing to take this fantastic both image and language metaphor and afterwards now in hindsight it's a genius stroke to actually yeah, it's all about that. There is a person in the machine, or persons, or lots of people. It's algorithm can't do everything, and still today, you know, when I have to prove that I'm not a robot, I have to now this is a traffic light, and this is a traffic, you know, that one. Still today, they can't see what the traffic signs are. Okay, good. So we have all these people, and I'm just, you know, again, I'm taking you through my findings that you properly. We talked about the gender issue before. That you didn't, it's not only men, because when I this is interesting this is from The Economist, and there is this cleaning lady, you know, as this grand chess master in the machine. And then I came to another thing. I'm just sort of preparing you for my dissertation kicker. That women have been, I mean, computer wasn't a thing. It was, you know, it was a job title, as many of you know, in the oldest. It's somebody that did calculations, or many people that did. That was a computer. Oh, I am a computer, so I do, you know, I do maths every day. And you could, of course, as also today, women were cheaper. Okay, so we could employ a lot of women, and women, of course, have also been crucial in the development of the IT technology and computers. But I didn't go into that. I went into, you know, this women sitting at the machine. This is the second census, folkräkning, in United States in 1880s. 30 years later, 30 years later, she's punching hålkort, whole cards, the bloodstream of the early computers, and the 60s, and today as a freelancer. Okay, so what did I do? I was interested in this person behind. I was interested in these people selling academic writing. I created 3 profiles on Elance, that today is Upwork, but it was Elance, Upwork, people per hour. And I also had on Guru, but I didn't really use that. And then I posted, okay, so this is just, as you see, because somebody is really, you know, saying, I can write for you high-class academic papers, and I only take $15 an hour. Okay, so this was, you know, there are hundreds of thousands of these. And for me, it was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? So this was my assignment. I basically, as somebody said I basically made some kind of, you know, hobby sociological meta study. I bought what it was to sell their intellectual property online. And a lot happened. And then again, I was thinking of the Mechanical Turk, and I was thinking of the delegation of work, and I was thinking of the economy of labor within all of this. And I was thinking of genius loci in academia. I was thinking of people doing the authentic work in order to fake but get credentials. And I was thinking, what is authorship? I mean, you as researchers know that authorship is really, really contested, because you have, you know, somebody signing your paper to get another quote, because it's about quotes and it's about paper and that whole organism that you, and not I, because I'm still an artist and soon I'm only an artist. So I was looking at that and I thought, okay, so how can I hack this? How can I delegate this totally? How can I flip it so things become visible? So the genius loci is really like here in the room. And I thought, okay, so if I buy my dissertation, and then I go up to the dissertation, and try to defend it. So everybody are sort of waiting for this guy, but no. 4 or 5 of these academic ghostwriters come and say, wait a minute, he didn't write that. We wrote that. Okay, so that was my plan. Okay, you already now know that. I mean, I'm standing here, so it didn't happen. But what happened was that one of the first people that replied, and let's call them digital proletariats, because this is what they wanted to be called themselves. So this is Digital Proletariat 1. And she became, she basically took over. She had 3 years within this industry. And she had, I mean, I had no know-how about this. So she became like more of a consigliere. She became more sort of the mafia boss than I was. And she totally rewrote my job assignment. And also started to write my applications within the University of the Arts. And she also, well, I mean, we started to look at everybody that was sort of selling this academic ghostwriting. So in the end, this is the think tank that that we built, and we Skyped for I don't know how many, talking about the temporality. Somebody was talking about to get up 7 in the morning, but to get Trinidad and Tobago and the Philippines to Skype with me in the it was, yeah, the time factor was quite great. The digital proletariat